This video is made by Bonsai Pop, cool dude, and it's titled How Uma Musume Broke Japan and Me. I think it's going to be very interesting to watch, even though I don't actively play Uma Musume anymore.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Listen, I'm just as lost as you are. Somewhere between it's a horse girl anime and actually it's a good sports show with meticulously researched real-world horse racing lore, I lost the plot. I don't even like horses.
I would hate to have to live in the same world as horses. Weird, smug little pricks.
But here I am, deeply invested in the career arc of a girl named Special Week, who is also a horse, who is also a pop idol, and a girl. I can explain. Stop. Before we talk about horse girls, I gotta tell you about our sponsor, Into the AM. And trust me, you actually do not want to skip this one. Into the AM isn't just some random brand we're shilling. We actually asked them if we could work together. Why? Because we already own a stupid amount of their shirts. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your butt, okay? I don't know you that well yet. Tyler's been buying Into the AM since his raver days over a decade ago. I know, cringe. What am I gonna do?
Cool designs.
He's had them for so long that a lot of his shirts are retired designs. They don't even sell them anymore. But even after all that time, dozens of washes, years of wear, they still hold up. I can attest to that. He wears them on the podcast all the time. Shirts are very comfy, the quality is great, and the designs are sick. Look at this. I mean, this is really cool. Their current lineup too is awesome. So there's no better recommendation I can give you than something we already buy and support ourselves. So if you like graphic tees, you are missing out if you do not have some Into the AM stuff.
Nice
so
cat. I didn't know he owned a cat.
I recommend you do. Click the link in the description and you will automatically get 10% off of your order. Grab something cool, support the channel, and look good while you're doing it. Thanks so much, and back to the girls that are horses. Okay, so how did I get here? What happened to me? What mistakes have I made to become
automatic
this person,
buy,
right?
true.
So I was just minding my own business, scrolling through YouTube, when I see a video of Ludwig, of course, playing a new game, Umamusume Pretty Derby, a mobile gacha game about horse girls, which sounds like one of those cursed things that should stay in Japan, but apparently it's become insanely popular. Surprise! Suddenly, I'm falling down a YouTube gaming rabbit hole as I find out that Ludwig, Northernlion, Lily Pichu, hell, even Sea Dog and his fucking dad.
Northernlion and Sea Dog got me into it as well. I watched a bunch of clips and I was like, how's this bald, beautiful man falling into a game like this? I don't understand. It must be good then. And then I tried myself and I fell into the same rabbit hole and I no-lifed it for like 2 or 3 days.
Dad are playing this game.
When there was a message from my dad, he said, "The game you played looked really fun. I'm gonna play it." I was like, "I only played Umamusume yesterday."
And of course, there's an anime adaptation. Why wouldn't there be? Yes, the anime is an adaptation of the game, not the other way around. Just so you know. In a weird twisted timeline, despite the game being the core of everything Umamusume based, it was the last thing to come out. The game was announced in 2016, a couple mangas were made between 2016 and 2018, and then the first season of the anime launched, but the game these were all based on was delayed until 2021. So yeah, it's weird, but it's all a game first, with everything else being a spin-off of this gacha game. Now I remember when this show's first season came out in 2018, it sounded stupid. I wrote it off as stupid. It is not something that I would have watched. Cute girls doing cute things is generally not my area of anime, and when they have horse ears and horse tails, I tend to stay away from that too. But now there's 3 seasons of the anime, so out of morbid curiosity, I watched season 1. I will admit for the first 10 or 15 minutes I regretted my decision, but then I found myself on episode 7. It's pretty good. Like, unironically good, not even a guilty pleasure kind of good. It's just sports anime banger good. I mean, that's the real trap of Umamusume. You show up for the absurdity of horse girls, but you stay because it's hitting you with the same underdog energy and hype rivalries as Haikyuu. So here's the basic premise, okay? Umamusume takes place in an alternate world where famous racehorses are reincarnated as girls with horse ears, tails, and superhuman speed, or regular horse speed. It depends on, I don't know. These girls compete in professional racing leagues, sprinting full speed on dirt tracks, wearing high heels, or maybe they're just clogged.
Is the anime show following one of the girls? Like, or one of the horses, sorry, horse girls? Like, are they following Gold Ship, for example, or are they following all of the girls? It's an ensemble, not just one girl. Oh, okay. Makes sense because they also sing, right? It's like girl band as well. Idols.
With horseshoes nailed into them.
They switch perspectives
because
a lot.
Japan
Okay.
can't help itself. The winner performs an idol concert after the race. This idol thing is actually a problem and has also ruined the only hockey anime that exists. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime. So obviously this is a ridiculous premise, but the show plays it completely straight, and there's basically zero fan service that you would expect
saw this
from
clip
a
on
show
Twitter.
as ridiculous as this. It treats racing as this huge
I don't know if it's the same trainer all the time or if all trainers do it, but they're basically checking out the thighs of the girls. But they're doing it to determine whether they are good sprinting horses, right? Not in a sexual sense, because those are like horses after all.
prestigious sport with legacy and honor and
That's Gold
training
Ship.
arcs, which is ironic
I love
because
her.
horse track racing in America is all about how many drugs you can sneak into your horse.
Oh
The
God!
idle part, that's barely the focus. It's just, I don't know, it's little glitz. Most of the time, it's just there to frame the spectacle of racing as a full-blown entertainment event, like if every F1 Grand Prix ended with a Super Bowl halftime show, or horse racing event. I don't know horse racing events, but it works because
That would be so funny. Imagine if Lewis Hamilton, for example, would win a race in F1 and then they would start like a karaoke show afterwards. That would be funny. We should implement that.
Uma Musume is a sports anime first, or gacha video game first. Regardless, it's about the sports, okay? Every character has a dream, they all want to win, they have rivalries and injuries and setbacks and comebacks, all the core beats you'd expect from a good competition anime. They just also happen to be young girls with tails and little horse ears. But what makes it weirdly fascinating is how much of this is pulled from actual horse racing history, which was not a history I knew. The show isn't just making up rivalries or career arcs, it's actually adapting them. And if you were to notice that, you would start seeing the show differently, okay? It's not just a weird anime about horse girls, it's a weird anime that's also a love letter to the entire history of Japanese horse racing, which again is probably why these girls aren't getting
That's a
loaded
giraffe.
up with drugs.
There's a
But
giraffe.
once you realize all of this, it's like the entire show kind of unlocks, right? Because every horse girl you meet isn't just some cute anime character. She's a direct reference to a real racehorse with an actual legacy and an actual racing style that's been translated into anime form, again based off of a video game gacha thing. And
That's
the
pretty
amount
cool,
of effort
though.
that went into this is kind of borderline obsessive and very strange, but altogether very Japanese, let's be real. Let's take a look at Special Week, right? That's not a frame of time. It's a person. It's the season 1's main character. And in the show, she's this bright-eyed country girl who comes from Hokkaido to the big city with dreams of being the best horse girl in Japan. She was raised in the country by her adoptive mother and had never met another horse girl until she came to Tekkan Academy. That's Tekan, not Tekken. It's not.
Wait, they're horses and they're girls. Does that mean that they have one human parent and one horse parent? How did the horse girls came to be? Are there male horse boys? I should probably not be asking those questions. I don't know if I'm ready for the answers.
Not that cool. Anyway, this is almost a one-to-one retelling of the real Special Week, which was a horse born in Hokkaido who was raised by a human caretaker, Tina Price, because the horse's real mom died after giving birth, which is also what happened to Special Week in the anime's mom, who was a horse girl, and then the person who raised her was not a horse. The climax of season 1, the Japan
Who's
Cup,
the
also
father?
mirrors the real-life equivalent 1999 Japan Cup, in which Special Week won his signature come from behind burst on the last leg of the race, which is also how the kawaii Special Week horse girl with a tail and ears wins in her races. But the real life one-to-one equivalents don't stop there, okay? Every horse girl in the show is a horse you can actually look up and see just how accurately the show portrays them if you really want to.
That's why it's prohibited to sexualize them. There are very strict rules for artists who are like fans of the show to not sexualize the horse girls just because they're based on real horses with a real story. Some of them already passed away and whatnot, right? And if I remember correctly, parts of the revenue of the game actually go to these like horse owners so they can buy food and shit like that for the horses, which is pretty cool.
My personal favorite horse girl, Gold Ship. In the show,
Yes!
Gold Ship is the absolute definition of ungovernable gremlin, as one PC Gamer article put it.
She's
In
a
the anime,
diva.
She's a tall, silver-haired chaos goblin who spends most of her time playing games, doing puzzles, or annoying Majoru McQueen, who obviously is another racehorse in real life, but... And that's because the real Gold Ship was apparently exactly like that. A legendary racehorse, a 6-time G1 winner, Hall of Fame inductee, and absolutely cracked when he wanted to be. But the problem was, sometimes he just didn't want to be. Sometimes he'd win by 5 lengths just like it was
is
nothing.
that the
and
real
other times
Gold
he'd just
Ship?
not want to race. His most infamous moment came during the 2015
His?
Takarazuka Kinen. The bets were stacked, the gates...
Wait, it is? Okay. Wait, are some of the horse girls based on male horses? He's a male. Goldship is male? Oh no. I need to undo all of my fantasies.
open, and Gold Ship jumps up on 2
Look,
legs and
Gold
doesn't
Ship is a
move.
beautiful
By the time
horse.
he starts running, the rest
IRL.
of the field is way down the track, and with that one mood swing, he wiped out 12 billion yen in bets, which, I mean, awesome. Horse
Ouch.
after my own heart. For the record, that is over 100 million US dollars obliterated because
Wow.
Gold Ship had the horse equivalent of a not today moment. And of course, the anime had to replicate this. The show is overflowing with small details like this. I read that there's a saying, you are a fool for betting on Gold Ship, but you're also a fool for not betting on Gold Ship. Because when he actually tried...
Wait, sorry for stopping the video so much, but is that why you have some races that you just cannot win, no matter your stats? I noticed that with Haru, the last race you do in preparation with Haru is like unwinnable. No matter your stats, you always gets the last spot.
Gold Ship was a monster. He was famous for coming from dead last and blasting past the entire field on the final
Last race is
stretch, which
unwinnable
what
unless
the
you give
anime
her
shows.
long and
course,
turf
because
aptitude from a
It's
parent.
really nerdy.
I felt
Even the
there
way
was
she
something wrong
harasses
with
Majoru
her.
McQueen in the show is funny if you know the history, which you probably don't, because in real life, Gold Ship is actually McQueen's grandkid. Grand pony. Even the ongoing joke of Gold Ship constantly getting stuff thrown in her eyes is a nod to the real Gold Ship's only injury ever being eye issues. Now here's a little confessional from me. I did not grow up in the big city. I still don't live in the big city. In fact, I grew up in
Same
a swamp.
here.
A swamp that happened to have a lot of farms all over the place. Hundreds of farms. So growing up, I knew a lot of horse girls, and I saw a lot of horses.
Same
and
here.
I didn't like
A girl in my class, like her parents are professional. I don't know what it's called in English. They did dressur. They basically taught horses how to do these like very fancy moves and how to jump over stuff and whatnot. Basically horse training. They were incredibly rich. I mean rich. And when she turned 16, her part-time job was to help her parents. And then she became incredibly rich. Like, by the time she was 18, I think she already had more money than the entire class combined.
horse girls, and I didn't like horses. Mostly because that was all anybody talked about, and it was really annoying and super nerdy. Also, I think sometimes there was some psychosexual stuff going on, but I don't know. That was just my theory. A game theory. So I thought looking into this anime was gonna give me some past trauma response, but actually it's been a lot of fun. And for the hardcore fan, there is a treasure trove of details subtly put into this show, from personalities to facial expressions to outfits that match the real life horses. Even each horse's ear accessory lets you know whether the original horse was male or female depending on which ear it's on. Only 90s kids will get this. But basically it's a bottomless pit of entertainment if you really get into it. And even if you don't know any of this, like I didn't before I got into this this video, it's still a pretty decent show. Despite being bait for some of the most demented artists on the internet, the characters are very likable.
I thought that was
and
not
much like
allowed.
This one commenter on a video of Gold Ship, if you start getting videos of the actual horse recommended to you, you might be in as deep as I am. But the anime and its real-life comparisons are only half the story. Where Uma Musume really became a phenomenon was the game. And this is where things go to full gacha hell. The Uma Musume Pretty Derby mobile and PC game is basically a training sim, a racing sim, and a visual novel all smashed together, right? So you pick a horse girl, you train her over the course of her career, you raise her stats, manage her mood, nutrition, stamina, all while trying to guide her to victory in key races. And yes, of course there's a gacha system. You roll for support cards, you roll for new horse girls, you roll to get better at rolling. It is brutal, but it's also stupidly addicting, I hear, because Tyler's playing it and so is everybody else in my gamer group, and I want to blow my brains out. But apparently, the actual racing
That's a
is
lucky
super
pull.
fucking awesome. The production value is absurd. Every race feels hyped up like a major sports event, complete with commentary, rival tension, and fully animated races where your training choices actually decide whether your girls win or lose. And yes, they have been playing it daily. They will not shut up about it. They are completely hooked. You don't know what it means to feel until you're watching the gold ship you trained suddenly come alive on the fourth corner and go from 16th to 1st just before the finish line. I read in my Discord messages. But from what I've seen of their footage, the idol concerts from the anime
Late runners are pretty cool. However, I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't know how to train them properly. My go-to horses were all front runners. I also got, with my last 2 polls that I did and my free tickets, I got Rudolph and the other one I forgot. I got like Suzuki or something like that. Suzuki and Rudolph, one of them was also front runner. And it was so incredibly easy to win the tournament with her because she was like a 3-star front runner. So front runners are that's where I belong as a trainer. I cannot train those late bloomers.
Anime are in the game too. Every time you win a big race, your horse girl immediately starts singing on stage in front of thousands of fans. It makes no sense, but it kinda rules. But what's actually wild to me is that the game doesn't coast on the anime's popularity. If anything, it's the other way around. It expands the lore. Every character has dedicated storylines, character events, and goals. The game was so successful in Japan that it was Japan's top grossing game of 2021 and 2022. Even 4 years in, it still generates over $10 million every month. It's not just a hit, it's a cultural phenomenon. And now that the global version is out on mobile and Steam, it is spreading to the rest of the degenerates all around the world. And here's the kicker. The game still treats horse racing history with the same obsessive respect. There are race calendars based on the actual Japanese racing circuit. The courses have the same lengths and conditions as the real tracks, and the characters' stats and tendencies reflect the actual horses. See,
I wish FIFA and like EA would treat football games like that. With that amount of respect and detail, they would be so much better.
play real racing games, like actual like racing sims where you can customize your car and the camber of the wheels and what parts you put in your engine. I like racing games. This mobile game seems like it has more thought and effort put into it than like Forza 5. It's so faithful that if you don't know Japanese racing history, you will unintentionally be an expert in a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's how I ended up here. That's how we ended up here. Started with a dumb meme game about horse girls, and now I'm accidentally a connoisseur of Japanese racehorse history. I didn't think this was going to be a video. I didn't even really want it to be a video. I didn't think I was going to care. And yet, here I am, emotionally invested in a gremlin horse girl named Gold Ship, and watching my friends signing in daily to get enough carrots for one more try to pull Tokai Teo before her spotlight event is over. I've lost them. I am on my own. But I do get it. I get why this franchise blew up. It's weird. It is hyper specific. It's way more earnest than it has any right to be. But goddamn, if it isn't kind of fun. And sometimes that's all you need. But for all you people out there wondering why horse girls are suddenly cropping up all over social media, here you go. And actually, it's worth giving a try. All of it, apparently. I'm playing Death Stranding 2. I don't have time for a horse girl game right now, but afterwards maybe. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm Mike. This is Bonsai Pop.
That was a great video. One thing I would love to add, because it's a gacha game and I played a bunch of gacha games in the past, it's incredibly generous when it comes to giving you stuff so you can pull for support cards or pull for new horse girlies if you want to. You get a set of horse girls at the start of the game, so you have like, I don't remember, like 6 or 7 girls to choose from, which all have their own careers. Like their careers differ from each other. So you can have a ton of fun without even pulling a new horse girl for at the very least 2 weeks. And then if you get tired of using the same horse girls, then you can pull for more, but you don't really need to, at least for the first 2 weeks. Plus support cards are more important anyway, so you should probably save your currency for those. There's a system that allows you to borrow support cards or veteran horses from other players. So even if you're not a whale, you can use the whale assets. That was a great video. If you watch this later on YouTube, please let me know if you're currently still playing Umamusume, if you are planning on playing Umamusume, and let me know what your favorite horsey is, your favorite horse girl.